Lifestyles, a show designed to help everyday Australians create a lifestyle that inspires them using property development strategies. On the show, you'll hear from everyday people changing their lives doing property development. You'll learn from their successes as well as some of the challenges they faced along the way. We'll also talk to experts in a range of fields who share specialised techniques you can use to accelerate your property journey. I'm your host, Amanda McEwen, and I'm a founder of Rising Star Developer, and I'm really passionate about helping everyday Australians build lifestyles using property development. Welcome to Building Lifestyles. Do I have some gold for you today? How does saving hours searching for development deals sound? Well, that's exactly what I'm about to share with you during this podcast. I'm super excited to introduce Matt Wake from Point Data. So, hey, Matt, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you, Amanda, and thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure. I have had the luxury of being able to save hours looking for deals using your tools. So I am super excited about sharing with the listeners what Point Data does and how you can help save hours finding deals and also find deals quicker, but move in and out of transactions a lot faster too. So can you share with the listeners what Point Data is and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be more than happy to. So, Point Data is a South Australian property residential tech company. We have offices in New South Wales and WA also. So we've got a national presence and growing very rapidly. So I guess you can break down Point Data into three core functions. We've got an automated valuation model, and I'm sure all of your members and listeners would understand what that is. So it's the same thing as like your CoreLogics or your price finders, etc. We give an estimated value on property. The other one is our planning algorithm model, which is really unique to Point Data, where we understand every parcel of residential land or properties, and then we also understand what the potential or development potential on each property can be. And thirdly, we have a land economics model as well. So we look at not only the house value, but the land value itself in situ, but then also coupled with the development potential. If the house does have development potential, what is the resultant subdividable land value?
That's amazing.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Yeah, because I know myself, every single day I get an email that pops into my inbox. And for those of you looking for deals, you're just going to be blown away by this. So every day email comes into my inbox and it lists every single new property that's hit the market that has development potential. So it has a list of all the addresses, the suburb, the council, how many you can actually put on that site, what the land size is, what the frontage is, whether it's if it's a 2-site, 3-site, 4-site, across all the different zonings. So whether it's a detached, semi-detached, row dwelling. I mean, that sort of information in the past has taken me hours to trawl through Domain and realestate.com just to trawl through that and try and identify the development size. But not only that, it means that I'm personally getting access to other suburbs and locations that I otherwise wouldn't have even thought of just by purely getting that report in my inbox. So I know what I do every single day is I'll go to the report and I'll search through whatever type of deal that I'm looking at that point in time, whether it's a 2 or 3 or 5 site. I grab the address, I whack it into realestate.com, then I can see the pictures and then I'll whack it into another tool and then do my normal due diligence. And that used to take me hours, and I'm doing that now within 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're right. And that's very typical of what we've been hearing. So with obviously our data, and data can be pretty confusing at times, especially with what's available these days. We've really condensed it and listened to our audience and tried to really simplify this offering. And like you said, how many hours, countless hours are you just scrolling at 10 o'clock at night on realestate.com? You know, what we've found is that there's like over 300 on average just here in South Australia alone that get listed every day. Now, like you mentioned, if it is outside your jurisdiction, you typically will miss a lot of opportunities out there. So what we've got planners here. We've got data scientists. We put our heads together and went, well, how can we better serve the property industry out there to really simplify a pain point that we all have, looking for these sometimes unicorns that are sitting there that are real estate agents have messed up. They don't know that it's developable, or they've undervalued it, so to speak. So to actually have that over a coffee emailed to you every day, yeah, absolutely. There's some deals to be had out there, and it's just, it just comes down to numbers then.
Yeah, for sure. It's a no-brainer. And I mean, I think one of the most time-consuming parts of the development is your deal searching, and to be able to have that cull that time is great. And then also just having the breadth of suburbs, I found that really useful. And I guess one thing that probably a number of listeners may be thinking of is like, okay, well, if everybody's getting, the people who join up with Point Data, so this particular offering that we're talking about right now, there's four main products that Point Data offer, and this one is the daily report. So say, for example, you're in South Australia and you've got a group of people all being sent out this daily report. Some people may be asking, well, then if everyone's getting sent that report, aren't they all going to be finding the deals? Like, are there going to be deals for anybody out there? And I get asked the same question when I'm going around and educating people about property development. I get people saying, well, if you're teaching all these people how to be property developers, aren't you increasing the competition in the market and actually, competing against myself and my own development business? And my answer to that, as with the daily report, is there's enough opportunities out there for everybody, right? And
you're right.
When you're a developer, you're not always looking for deals all the time. And you've got a limited amount of capacity, both financially and also with time. And I know myself, I only want to be doing, 3 to 6 deals a year. And once that's taken, you're out of the market for a period of time until one project drops out and you're going again. So I could be out of the market in 6 to 8 months, and then I'm back in again. So I think that's an important point to relay to anybody listening is, yes, you're going to have people getting the same report, but I may be looking for a 4-site. Somebody else might be looking for a 2-site. I may be looking for a high value product to create. Someone else might be looking for a more affordable product. And I think that's a really important message to get out there when it comes to a tool like this. There is enough out there for everybody.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I get that question a lot as well in terms of, well, you're going to saturate the market. Well, we all have a ceiling of what we can borrow or what we've got access to in terms of development, putting that towards development. But it really staggered me when I really started help create this product and then started looking around the analytics of it. On average in South Australia, there's about 20 to 30 of these properties that come up every day, which is staggering. We've got WA that's online now and soon to have the rest of Australia in the coming quarters and next year as well. So that really opens up an opportunity. And if you are just looking for development sites, like you mentioned before, if you're looking for 4 sites, we really tailor this product into showing that you can do it into a semi-detached. And I'm talking here in South Australia, and the planning rules will obviously differ with your R codes in WA and so forth over in New South Wales and the eastern seaboard. But here in South Australia, we really list it down into, can it be subdivided into a detached, semi-detached, row dwellings, group dwellings, and we know that the lending capabilities and also the structure of how you put it together will really change and also change the time frame and outcome of that development. So there's plenty to go around. Like you said, there's over 750,000 residential properties here in South Australia. And one of the key points is that 60% of the real estate agents don't actually even list on market to say that it is developable. So some of them don't even actually know, which with this product, you can actually have it every single day sitting on your computer while you're having that coffee, like you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, for the price of it, let's talk about the price of this for the daily report.
Mm-hmm. So it's a $99 retail product, but anyone who comes through your channel, they'll get a further 10% discount as well. So minimum 3 months, and like we mentioned before, that you do come in and out of buying property. So we have reflected that within a minimum of 3 months there. So, really affordable, less than, I hate to say it, and there's so many marketing campaigns out there, etc. But for less than a coffee a day, you can have this emailed to you. So then, but the other thing is that you're going to actually have to come up with another excuse as to why you're sitting on your phone and searching and putting all your attention into that. So now you're going to have to talk to your spouse at 10 o'clock at night instead of searching for property.
Not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
And look at what I also love about your offering, and my whole business philosophy and life philosophy is always about win-win. And what you're offering here, because the fact you can turn on and off, I think that's really important, because as developers, we're not always in the market. So to have to then lock in for a 12-month period, it can get expensive, but especially if you're not looking for deals. So I love that you've provided that flexibility to developers to be able to turn it on and off as well. So that's fantastic.
Absolutely. Sorry to cut you off there, but we also know that being developers, cash flow is sometimes a challenge as well, and every dollar counts. So yeah, like you mentioned, it's something that we absolutely have to look at, and that's why we've provided that as well.
That's amazing. So spoken around the daily report, there's 3 other offerings that you have as well, and just for the listeners, the reason I will only ever bring in people that I think is going to add a huge amount of value to you as a developer, and if I've got some value out of something that helps me in my business, I'm always happy to share. So that's why I really am keen to run you through these options as well. So the other report that Point Data provides is a vendor listing report. So do you want to just run through what that is?
Yeah, sure. So you mentioned before about the daily subscription. So that's called development side alerts. So it alerts you every day via an email, etc. So that's that $99, and that's for on market. So for everything else, being a developer and looking at property, absolutely property obsessed, we look at off market opportunities as well. So driving down streets, etc. You drive down past one and you see, or you're getting a listing, an address from one of your networks, etc. We also have a portal where you can go on, and it's simply you type in an address, and then it will come up with relevant reports. And you mentioned there the vendor listing report. Now, what that does, that gives you, it ties in all of our core features, what I mentioned before. So it'll give you all of the property details in a PDF report very quickly, and it's $14.95. And again, there'll be a 10% discount off of that as well. So it is a pay per click. So you get the property details, again, you get frontage, you get the side area, you also get the zoning as well, and also, which is really critical, is what is the maximum development potential, if it does have development potential. Got recent sales histories in there, so it gives you a really quick snapshot of understanding whether or not that property is subdividable for one, and if so, what is the maximum yield that you can get out of it.
Yeah, that's great. And I mean, if you have a tool like RP Data or a Price Finder, it can provide similar information, but the thing that doesn't provide that your tool does is that development potential, because you've got that zoning overlay. So that's where I guess that's useful for off-market deals. Mm-hmm. And then you've got your development potential report as well. So just talk us through that.
Yeah, so this is a really exciting report. This is an almost a pre-FISO sort of report. So if I find a larger site or a one that's got development potential, whether it be through development side alerts or whether it be through just having a look on our portal, the development potential report actually then lists the same as the vendor listing report. So you get all your property details, obviously. Then we know that it has development potential. And again, we list out every single development, development option that you have on that property. So if it's got a 1 into 2 detached, a 1 into 2 semi-detached, group, row, and again, I'm talking specific here to South Australia at the moment, and we're soon going to have this capability throughout the rest of Australia. But for now, with the South Australian product, it will then break down into land economics as well. So it talks about what the property is or the land value is in situ, and then with the overlay of the development plan, and let's say it can be subdivided into 1 into 3 or a 1 into 4 group, we will list all of those in there as a pre-feso to say, well, a 1 into 2, based on recent sales history and the smart and the tech that we have created, we'll get recent sales to then create a land value algorithm based on the size of that land that you're about to potentially take to market. Obviously, you need to do your own feso, and I suggest that everybody does, but it's a really great, fast, simple way from a click of a button to be able to then understand holistically of what you can actually do highest and best use of that property.
Yeah, that's amazing. Another time saver, and just having that information at your fingertips, saves you hours, but also it helps you with your whole due diligence as well. It helps speed up your due diligence.
Absolutely. And you mentioned before, like a lot of us have got subscriptions with other providers as an example, but this is just another tool that we have that other providers don't have. So there is a difference, but also even if you are using a couple in parallel, like if you're using RP Data or a Price Finder or Domain and realestate.com or whatever it might be, there are discrepancies here and there. And as soon as there are discrepancies, that makes me look further into the property to be able to get more due diligence on it. And therefore, if there's a third offering there that you can actually make sure that your numbers do stack up and get you to that go, no go very quickly, then I think there's benefit in it for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And the fourth one, which I'm really, really interested about, is the data pack. So we had a chat about this before we started the call, but share with everyone what that is.
Wow, this is potentially a game changer for a lot of people. And, we've been sitting on this for a little while now. To give you an idea, what's happened here in South Australia is we've gone through recently in the last, I think it was 2019 March, we went from, into the new planning and design code. So we had tracked exactly how many properties there were, residential properties for subdivision. There was 110,000 that we could compute. 110,000 residential properties that have subdividable potential or subdivision potential. Now when the new planning and design code came in, that has increased up to 155,000. So there's new opportunities that have come online just simply because of the planning and design code has changed some areas, which leaves a huge opportunity there. So with the data pack, we know every address here in South Australia, WA, we're learning Victoria, and I'll talk about when those will be rolled out as well. But a data pack essentially is a list of a geography that you will define, whether it be a planning zone or it be an LGA, council area, etc. And we will give you the list of all development properties, the properties with development potential, plus all the metrics around that. So you've got your property, IDs, addresses, zones, etc., side areas, frontage, as well as all of the individual options for that address as well. All tied together in a simple spreadsheet for you to be able to go back and do however you do your due diligence for your off-market approach. Whether you give that to your buyer's agent, whether you go and send letters, I'll leave that up to you, but cuts down hundreds of hours of time. It's available to anybody who wants it, basically.
And I wish we had this conversation a number of years ago, because probably a few years ago I can't count countless hours going through an area where I had my satellite view of my app, I think RP Data that I was using at the time. I would manually satellite view over every single street to try and identify which ones had a wide frontage and which ones had the right square meterage. Hours doing that. Yeah. And then I got that list, and it wasn't even that complete because I ended up just trying to wrote numbers, addresses down as easy as I could, but it wasn't as accurate. And I then took that list and then did letter drops and filed them out to agents. And so the power of that is just incredible, just to save you time. But also by knowing, I've got a list of one particular suburb where I know exactly if anything pops up on realestate.com, or if an agent calls me, I go to my list. Yep, that site there, it's got X, Y, Z. And then you've got to feel, you can even just model up feasibilities based on a particular area so that you already know what the price point is that you can be prepared to pay for that particular type of development. And these are the little things that you do to be able to move very quickly. When you can move quickly and make decisions quickly, while having done your due diligence beforehand, then that's where you can get and secure deals a lot faster too. So it's really powerful stuff.
Yeah, you're right. And a classic example, or we've had a client who's consumed 3 LGAs, and his testimonial was that, and he's like many of us, works full time, wants to transition over and trying to make ends meet to get the lifestyle and to be able to create that income, etc. Would spend from 8 o'clock at night until 11 o'clock. Every single day, work day of the week, he would do that for 3 months, and he would do that just to be able to, exactly like yourself. He would sit there and he would measure the front on, whatever it might be, whatever, SaaS platform or geo landscape, etc., to be able to create a database. Now, what we provided him in the space of hours has saved him 3 months as a result of just going home. And his then has changed his position or his effort from identifying now to strategy, and also how to then I go and get money partners, or how do I then go and approach, what are they? And it gives him more flexibility because he's got that time to be able to create action instead of actually due diligence there at the start.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what sort of investment is involved to be able to get access to a data pack? And bearing in mind, once you've got a data pack, the data there doesn't change unless the zoning changes in the area as well. So if you get that information for a suburb, within my inner circle, I teach people about deal belts, right? So once you find a deal belt, you can typically farm that for a good couple of years before it starts getting saturated. And so you have access to that deal belt for detailed access to the next level by investment you make up front.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that's exactly how it was intended to be used. This has been big end of town for a long time, and now, banks and governments, that's also who we deal with. And they're the only ones who have ever really had access to this data. And now, Point Data, we want to democratize this data and give it the power to be able to help the industry. We're in a rental shortage, housing crisis at the moment. So how do we collectively help this? But going back to your message, your question in terms of the pricing, as we know, every single LGA or development zone, etc., has a different amount of, or a number of properties. So it's always going to be price on application. We do know that every single individual address that you get will be a $9.90 investment. So let's say if there's a suburb that has 1,000 properties in it, residential properties, what we simply do is we put it through our tech, we filter that down, we find every single residential development site in there, and that may then only be a 10% strike rate. So there's 100 properties there at $9.90. You're looking there, around about the $10,000, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And what, you think about the time value of your own money, like the time value of the dollar value of your own time. I'll get it right. If you're spending 3 months trying to work that out yourself, with $10,000, you can really make that up in a deal very, very quickly once you get in and out.
Absolutely. And to use them and coincide with one or the other. So like the development side alerts, you can dip your toe in the water, and that's very, very good now to be able to go out and secure a development site because it's on the market. You can secure that within 14 days if that's what the settlement terms are. However, if we want a longer sort of pipeline, then we have to look at other sources, and we use these collectively and merge them together. So like you said, it's all about database management and rich database management. As soon as you can crack that, then like you said, you're going to be able to make decisions faster, keep the emotions out of it. It's dollar values, and also you can potentially use this as a tool to be able to give you confidence to go into another area where you didn't actually think that you had the time nor the knowledge to be able to extract some uplift in an area that you don't know anything about. this can potentially do that.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think of, with what I teach my students as well, we've got students that are ready to do deals right now, and we've got some students that aren't ready to do deals right now and are happy to do site spotting as well. So if you are a buyer's agent, or if you want to do site spotting and find deals and then pass them on to somebody for a fee, it won't take long to be able to recover that sort of investment. And look, it's not for everybody. Not
Correct.
everyone is comfortable or has the means to be able to do that upfront investment for that particular type of product. So it isn't for everyone. But that's where I love, you've got the daily report, you've got the vendor listing and development potential report, the other offerings to be able to help people as well. So and then when you mentioned that you've got the on-market, which is your daily report, and then the other 3 reports, which are more off-market.
Yep.
When I'm looking for deals, I'm not using just one strategy. I have lots of different irons in the fire, and that's something I certainly teach my students as well. You have your calls to agents, you have your on-market deals, you've got your off-market deals coming from agents, you've got letter drops, you've got so many different irons in the fire, and when you scale up those multiple different avenues to find deals, that's when you start getting momentum, and that's when you start finding deals a bit faster as well. So what you're providing there is just one of the many tools that are available out there. And I'm all about trying to keep life simple, and you can find more money, but trying to find more time. And I'm all about building lifestyle as well, trying to be able to do as much as you can and build as much of the lifestyle as you possibly can without spending too much time working. And tools like this that save me time are fantastic.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole reason why we've designed these tools around that, is to give people back their time, to give them some really rich, unique data that hasn't been available before. So yeah, I'm open to, helping anybody that I can, get into the property, development space if they're new to it, or to refine their techniques that they're already using as well. Like you said, it's not for everybody, but for the people who want to, especially with the data packs, it's definitely worth a conversation, and it's not just a click and start consuming. It's certainly around about, okay, what location, are we looking at a suburb? Are we looking at you're looking specifically for a 1 into 3 rows or groups or what have you. We can really tailor it to the individual and what specifically they're looking for. So more than happy to help out.
That's great. Let's talk about coverage, because you are in growth mode. So at the moment, you're up and running in South Australia and WA, which is really nice, because you know what, South Australia and WA, we're usually the last cabs off the rank. So it's very nice to be able to leverage a tool like this. But let's talk about across Australia, what your rollout plan is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very good question, and something that we're really proud of. So we are South Australian based, and like you mentioned, we know that there's a lot of action going up into the eastern states, and we'll certainly be there as soon as possible. So we have the full offering here in South Australia right now. WA, we've launched earlier this year. Like I mentioned, we do have an office over there. Victoria, we're going to be in the first quarter of next year, so we'll definitely have development site alerts in the very early next year. Queensland, it will be I reckon around about March or April in 2022. New South Wales will just be ticking over into the new financial year in 2022, so looking around about August, and the ACT sort of at the back end of next year as well. So I'm cracking the whip. I've got our data team really working overdrive. And yeah, we're looking forward to really breaking into these new states. And like I mentioned before, with the new data sets that aren't out there in these new areas, we will make a really big effort to be able to inform you of when they're coming out, how close we are, so you can then let your members know, and your audience know that, hey, we're only a week away. We're only 2 weeks away. Put your name on the list and we'll see what we can help you out with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just clarify, you mentioned 2022. It's actually 2023 next year.
Yes.
So yeah, by next year, the rest of Australia should be rolled out. So it might even be worthwhile, Matt, we haven't even spoken about this, but even getting a wait list together for the other states.
Yeah.
So we'll work offline as to how we can do that. So then at least for those of you who are interested that don't have states live right now, we can put you on a wait list and inform you when that is up and running. So we'll organise that behind the scenes.
Absolutely.
So Matt, in terms of people wanting to be able to get involved, join up, I know we've spoken about this, so what we will be doing is we'll put a link in the show notes. So what I will do, if it's okay with you as well, is put some examples in there of the different reports. So just an example, daily report, the vendor listing report, development potential report, just so you can see. I'm happy to even use one of my projects and put the address in there, and so you can see the type of content that's there. I think that'll be useful for the listeners. And even just a snapshot of a small snapshot of data pack without giving everything away, of course, just so people can see the type of content that's there. And then we can put a link in there as well. So if you do want to know more, whether that is to join up for the daily report, or the vendor listing report, whatever is available there, or if you want to have a conversation just to perhaps narrow down what your data pack requirements are, we'll put those in the show notes as well. And otherwise, you can always flick me an email and I can contact Matt direct, but we'll try and automate it and make it as simple as possible for you to start getting those daily reports in. They are incredible. So I hope everyone has found this useful. I've been really looking forward to doing this podcast because when I get benefit from something, I like to be able to share that with other people as well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the growth of Point Data and seeing you move into other states, because I think you're really going to help developers be able to really condense the time it takes to find deals. So, I think it's an amazing service that you're offering, and I look forward, and I hope that a number of my students and community get to benefit from that too.
Brilliant. Yes, we look forward to helping out, like you mentioned, all of your community. And it's been a pleasure working with you as well, Amanda. So thank you very much again for having me on.
Excellent. Thanks. Bye for now. Thank you so much for listening. This is Building Lifestyles, a show designed to help everyday Australians create a lifestyle that inspires them using property development strategies. This podcast was produced by the Rising Star Developer. We've been helping Australians realise their financial and lifestyle goals since 2020. And we play a pivotal role in educating, supporting and celebrating the goals and successes of our students. To find out how we can help you realise your property, wealth and lifestyle goals, head to our website www.risingstardeveloper.com.au. To make sure you don't miss an episode of Building Lifestyles, be sure to subscribe to or follow the show in your podcast app. And while you're there, leave us a 5-star review, as it really helps others find the show. I'm Amanda McEwen, and we'll be back next episode with more tips to help you build your lifestyle.